Across the nation tonight, chef and TV host Anthony Bourdain took his own life. He was 61 years old. And with his passing, his message does remain the same, reminding us that as humans, we are far more alike than different. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 4 people in the world will be affected by mental illness. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. That is 45,000 lives lost every single year. And for every single suicide that is carried out, there are 25 others who have tried. Now here at KREM 2, we normally do not report on individual suicides. It's something, though, that is hitting our community hard lately, and perhaps others who are struggling tonight will be prompted to get some help. Sadly, suicide rates have skyrocketed across the country over the last 20 years. Just this week, the CDC released a new study that shows suicide has increased in the U.S. by 25% since 1999. In Washington, the increase is about 19%, and in Idaho, it's even worse. That suicide rate there up 43%, which is the 7th highest in the nation. And one Idaho dad is working to curb those very numbers, and for him, it's very personal. It's been less than a week now since his 16-year-old son took his own life. He was a student at Coeur d'Alene High School, a community that was already rocked by suicide earlier this year. So that father spoke with KREM 2's Taylor Vito.
I want to preface this story by saying that typically following a suicide, we don't normally reach out to a grieving family. We want to respect their privacy. But in this case, this father reached out to us. He says while tragic, suicide isn't always often talked about, and he says he wants to do whatever he can to prevent another local family from going through what he's going through.
But very family. He loved his family.
Austin Crawford was just 16, your typical freshman at Coeur d'Alene High School. He was into sports, band, and had many friends in different social circles. His dad tells us that without warning, Austin tragically took his own life earlier this week.
Yeah, every day I get cried out, and Austin was, I miss the smile.
Austin's dad, Kevin, knew he couldn't grieve in silence. After what happened, he felt compelled to talk to others about this. He says it feels as if suicide in North Idaho has become more and more common. He wants it to stop.
And I wanted to drive down to the high school, and I just wanted to get everybody in that gym and talk.
So with the help of his wife, Crawford now plans to establish a nonprofit in Austin's honor. The specifics are still taking shape, but he wants to establish more resources for people, both kids and adults, struggling with suicidal thoughts. It's not always easy or comfortable to seek out counseling, he says, but if he can prevent another local teen from taking his or her own life, he'll do whatever he can.
We don't want kids to be afraid to talk about this. We don't want kids to feel shamed to talk about this.
Now, locally, there are resources available for anyone who is contemplating suicide. Notably, there's the Northern Idaho Crisis Center. They're open 24/7. There's also local call and text lines as well. We'll include that information in a story on our website at krem.com. In Hayden, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
And sadly, so many of the people who are struggling right now are often teenagers. An Okanagan middle school student now admits she is the one who wrote a harassing note to herself that then went viral. That note got hundreds of comments on our Facebook page alone because the words were truly hurtful. Even the Okanagan County Sheriff's Office got involved because of it. Now, though, they say the student who reported the note was the one who wrote it. The department says after a handwriting test, the middle school student confessed that she wrote it. Now, we previously had interviewed that student as well as her mom, and at the time they told us they hoped the story would inspire others just to be kind. We spoke with those students earlier this afternoon. The school district asking that people, though, not harass the family because kids do make mistakes. Alexa Block is joining us now, and I know you've covered this story many times over the last few months. You've gotten to know the family a little bit, and at the beginning today when the sheriff's office announced that, I think some people kind of felt like they got duped, but the reality is this was a young girl who was hurting a lot and was in a very, very difficult place.
That's right, and she just really wanted to apologize. She understands that what she did was wrong, and when she wrote that letter, she said that she was really feeling those things about herself, and I think that's what's so tough about this story is the fact that she felt like she had to do that. So let's take a listen to what she had to say earlier to me on the phone.
So guilty inside, and I'm really sorry that I said that. tired of getting bullied, and I didn't really know what to do. So I wrote a letter to myself. I was screaming help, and I thought if someone read it, maybe someone can help me. And I'm really sorry, and that really breaks my heart that I stood there and didn't say anything.
So hard to listen to her. She's in a lot of pain, and it's really hard.
That's true. And she says that she's been bullied for years, since she was in elementary school. So this has been going on and building for a very long time. And someone that's been with her through all this is her mother. And I had a chance to speak with her as well on the phone. And she just says that she's sticking with her daughter through all of this.
Did this, and she still came forward. You know, I mean, we own our mistakes in our family. She just didn't mean for it to go this far, but unfortunately it has. And at the end of the day, it's still about a young girl who's been bullied, didn't know what to do. So, I mean, she's got me, and we're going to heal, and we're going to get through all this.
Now, I honestly believe that they really just wanted to bring awareness to bullying. You know, this is a tough situation. A lot of people feel betrayed and hurt, but in the root of it was just the fact that she was feeling this way, and that she was feeling that she was getting bullied every day.
I hope that she knows that this discussion has been sparked, and that it is okay, and that she is forgiven, and that we want her to find some peace and to be comfortable. And hopefully this conversation will not end here, and that everyone everywhere who was touched by this story will continue to talk about it and try to get help for the people who need it, for sure. Alexa, thank you very much.
It's true.
Suicide prevention hotlines, we know, can be a huge help for anyone in that dark place. So tonight, we wanted to take a minute just to introduce you to the people who are answering those calls for help right here in the Inland Northwest.
Reaching out can be both the hardest thing that somebody does and opens the door to getting support that can move someone out of the crisis they're in and really reinforce that there's hope for the future. You can expect a really warm response, really connecting with who you are and what's going on in your current situation.
So they said the goal is to not be invasive, but understanding that someone's situation is very difficult. And as they help callers, they also connect them to mental health resources. And Washington State University also working to help prevent suicide. After 8 years at Joe Albi Stadium here in Spokane, the Crimson and Gray Spring Game is moving back to Pullman next season. The Spring Game will also partner with Game Day for Mental Health, which aims to provide more information about suicide prevention. And this new platform hits home for the WSU football team following the suicide of quarterback Tyler Helinski in January. WSU officials said the team plans to memorialize Helinski's passing by placing a number 3 sticker on all of their helmets. That was Helinski's number. The team will also designate a locker for Helinski at the Cougar football complex, and the school will raise a flag in his honor at every home game this season. So here it is right now, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, 1-800-273-TALK. It is free. Someone is there right now available to talk and help you. They'll be there 24 hours a day. And remember, even if it feels like you are alone, you are not alone. It's time to take our first break here. We'll be right back.